In this course, our primary focus will be on cultivating head-shaped chicories, common and easy to grow varieties in gardens. These plants form heads that can be round or elongated and come in variety of colors, from red and green to pale yellow. This group also includes sugarloaf chicory, known as Pan di Zucchero, which is recognizable by its distinctive long-shaped head. At Becoming Gardener, we predominantly grow these head-shaped varieties, timed alongside endive in 2 sowings. This strategy ensures an outdoor crop from September through December. If we transplant seedlings into the greenhouse, chicory heads can be harvested until March. If you have access to a greenhouse, consider transplanting the same seedlings there in August or cultivating even later seedlings for transplant no later than end of September. Doing so guarantees harvesting until March in mild winters, as the greenhouse provides significant protection to the chicory. It can also be grown outdoors under tunnel hoops covered with garden fleece, which we cover at the start of colder days around October. Chicory can be sown directly in the garden bed or grown from seedlings. Since the garden beds tend to be busier in summer than in spring, it makes more sense to grow chicory seedlings, so you don't have to wait for seed germination during the peak garden season. Seedlings can be grown while other vegetables are still occupying the beds. The initial chicory sowing occurs in mid-June, simultaneously with endives and the second consecutive sowing of lettuce. We recommend selecting at least 3 varieties of head-shaped chicory, each offering different colors. Before the end of summer, consider another sowing. This is ideally done in mid-July. This sowing ensures a later harvest, which will stay on the garden bed for a longer period due to decreasing temperatures and reduced daylight. The process for growing these seedlings aligns with the one described for endive. First, sow several seeds in a larger container where they can germinate. Sow them in a moist substrate and cover with 0.5 cm layer of dry substrate. As they can germinate successfully in the dark, cover the container to ensure uniform humidity. Once the first sprouts appear, which can be within 2 days, move them to direct sunlight. When the first leaves are well developed, within 5 to 10 days of sowing, transplant the seedlings into individual medium-sized planting units with a quality substrate mixture. Avoid waiting too long for the true leaves to develop, as the roots can be damaged during transplanting. By transplanting, you can select healthy plants through natural selection. If the plants have stretched out, plant them deeper when transplanting, up to the first leaves. Avoid touching the roots and instead use a wooden or a plastic stick. First seedling transplantation outdoors is typically done in mid-July, with a second round in early August. Once the seedlings have developed 4 to 6 leaves, which usually takes around 25 to 30 days during the summer, they are ready to be transplanted into the garden bed. Plant the seedlings in a zigzag pattern, maintaining a spacing of 30 centimeters between each plant. Prior to transplanting, ensure the planting holes are well watered and water the entire surface of the bed generously. When transplanting seedlings in the summer months, also pay attention to the weather and transplant before or after rain. Utilize a technique that reduces transplanting shock on hot summer days. Remove the outer, larger leaves and leave only 2 youngest leaves from which the plant will grow. The root system will more easily provide moisture to a smaller number of leaves before the seedling is completely rooted. Use the cut leaves for preparing a salad. It's important to avoid mulching the bed with unprocessed materials such as straw, grass clippings, leaves, or any other unprocessed mulch. This can cause the leaves to become dirty with foreign matter that is inedible. Instead, transplant chicory seedlings into a garden bed mulched with compost, which also helps protect the soil. Maintain proper spacing when transplanting to ensure that the plant's leaves shade the soil, reducing the need for watering and suppressing weed growth. During the first week after transplanting, water the seedlings daily, especially in dry and sunny summer weather. Afterwards, it's generally sufficient to water the bed deeply once a week, unless there is adequate rainfall. To manage weeds, use appropriate garden tools to remove them between the plants. For individual weeds growing near the plants, they can be manually plucked out by hand. One advantage of growing from seedlings is that the bed can be thoroughly weeded before transplanting, reducing the need for subsequent weeding. However, if the seedlings are transplanted among still growing vegetables, it is important to weed the bed beforehand. In late autumn, provide protection for chicory plants outdoors by using a garden fleece placed over tunnel hoops or directly covering the plants. Most varieties can tolerate temperatures a few degrees below freezing, but most of head varieties get damaged at -2 degrees Celsius. For optimal garden planning, it is recommended to include chicory in beds that have already been emptied in the middle of summer. It works well to follow onions, garlic, potatoes, beetroot, or peas. Small seedlings can be transplanted into the bed while other vegetables are still growing and being harvested. For example, you can transplant them among onions that will be harvested in a week or 2. Growing chicory shares similar challenges to that of lettuce cultivation. The fresh leaves are highly susceptible to slug damage. Regularly remove dead older leaves and ensure there is no unprocessed organic material on the garden bed, as this can attract slugs. Note that slugs are drawn to any unprocessed mulch on the bed. Dense planting and cultivation in a greenhouse, especially during autumn, can lead to fungal infections such as gray mold, white lettuce rot, and black lettuce rot. Adequate ventilation is challenging during this season, so it is important to harvest chicory regularly, creating more space for other still growing plants. Frost in outdoor conditions can damage the leaves, causing them to deteriorate faster. Chicory leaves in red and multicolored head-shaped varieties are often initially green. However, they turn to their characteristic red color before the formation of the head. The head is best harvested when it's firm when squeezed by hand. Older outer leaves should be removed if they start to rot or decay. This is essential as poor ventilation may cause the plant to rot near the root. Outdoor summer varieties of chicories can be harvested from September to December. Harvest the whole head using a knife and trim away the outer leaves, leaving with a clean and firm chicory head. Forcing chicory is a fascinating winter cultivation method that delivers a special and flavorsome chicory harvest towards the end of winter. The real experts in this practice can be found in the Gorička region in Slovenia, where, following the traditional methods, they are forcing a native variety of Solkan chicory. The resulting chicory boasts incredibly beautiful leaves that take on the shape and color of a rose flower. Various species of chicory are forced in other parts of Europe, some in dark environments, to produce pale heads like Belgian endive, also known as wheatloaf. The process typically involves sowing directly on the bed in April or seedling transplanted before summer. The plant then produces thick to dark leaves that strengthen the root. The chicory can be cut at least twice during growth and then finally in November when the roots are dug up. In a dark room maintained at a temperature between 8 to 15 degrees Celsius, the chicory is forced to grow from these dug up roots. The roots must always be kept moist, for instance by burying them in sand. Best to place them in crates for easier manipulation. The result is the production of beautifully shaped leaves, such as these rose-like Solkan chicory or this wheatloaf-style Etardo variety. Head chicory isn't typically stored for extended periods. Given the frosty conditions of autumn and winter, you can prepare a mixture of different colored chicories and endives, which should stay fresh for approximately a week, which is longer than a lettuce would typically last. Harvest the heads of individual chicory varieties, wash them, discard any that are in poor condition, and then drain them. Store the mixed collection in a sealed container in the refrigerator, creating a colorful medley of autumn salad ingredients at your fingertips. We mainly consume this mix with warm potato or beans to soften the leaves and extract more flavor when seasoning with the salad dressing. Chicory can also be enjoyed roasted. Sugarloaf chicory is the most popular choice for this cooking method. From chicory's unique bitter taste to its diverse culinary uses, chicory truly stands out in the garden and on our plates. As we conclude this course, remember the valuable lessons and techniques shared. And don't forget to explore our other vegetable courses to broaden your gardening horizon. Thanks for sharing this chicory journey with us, and let's keep becoming gardeners together.